Ladies, gentlemen, let the show begin. Alright, do you like video games? And I know you do. What about entertainment? We got that to video game. I'm not a video game. Video game. Oh, what's the name? Video Game Armada.
This is the one Sean the Gamer Boss Ron.
And the information about for True Backlash.
And the First Lady of Media, Blue.
It's time for another movie review. Yay! And we went to go see the new Power Rangers movie. Now, I gotta tell you, I had some concerns because the trailers showed the new Rangers as a bunch of whiny teenagers with,
Attitude?
close. I was going to say problems. Emotional problems. And other problems. And it made me think, oh no, don't do this to my Rangers. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, a lot of you guys out there, you're real fussy when it comes to your old school children's cartoons and shows and the like. And for the most part, I'd say most adaptations like this have been pretty much faithful. This would probably be one of the first where I have to scratch my head and say, are you sure you want to do this? Are you really sure? Well, we just got done with the movie, and we could, go over the main talking points right away instead of save yourself some time, but I like being coy. So, Backlash, if you don't mind, the story, please.
Of course. Well, here in Ancient Grove, instead of every main city like Springfield, most notably a place where there's serves sun and fun, warm palm trees, and an inexplicable rock quarry that they seem to fight the monsters in.
That's in the movie, people.
Angel Grove is a assumingly northeastern fishing town, where they get their money by doing deadliest catch type fishing in the rainstorm. And within that quaint fishing town, there's 5 teenagers
With attitude.
Jason, the all-star quarterback, who betrayed his parents' trust, and now he has some legal issues to deal with. Zach, the maybe crazy, definitely snarky teen.
Who's not black.
Kimberly, who is the high school cheerleader who just had a falling out with her best friends.
And cut her hair for some reason.
Billy,
That's in the trailer, not a spoiler.
Billy, the nerd, and yeah, that's actually the same thing. So honestly, you're good. That's Billy the kid kept the nerd.
Also, he is black.
And Trini, she's quiet.
And she's also got issues. And they keep misspelling her name Dee Dee for some reason.
Or Trini.
Or Trini for some reason.
Yeah.
Trini is not a hard name to say.
And there's certainly no kind of similarity between Dee Dee and Trini.
No.
Or Dixie.
and
or whatever else they've been saying.
Anyhow, I won't spoil how most of these characters meet, but I'll say that they all go to Angel Grove High School, so they're have the same symbiosis on that level. However, they have nothing in common. They don't hang around each other. They don't really know each other all that well, and yet one chance meeting with Jason and Billy more or less caused all 5 of these teenagers to go to the same rock quarry and discover the power coins. Yes, those power coins. And discover Zordon. Yes, that Zordon, played by Bryan Cranston. And then
that same Bryan Cranston who played a monster back in the original show.
A monster.
I don't know which one, but a monster.
Now, to be fair, Bryan Cranston was a big-time anime dubber before he ever became a big superstar. He'd done a little bit of everything, including Seinfeld as a dentist, I think. But
oh yeah, he was the dentist. I remember.
But to name Billy's last name after this man, and he only did like a handful of monsters in the original show, I think that's kind of weird. But oh well. And you also have Bill Hader as Alpha 5. You remember him from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So anyway, the rest of it writes itself. After they never explain how many years, Rita Repulsa is free, and she's trying to conquer Earth. But get this? Well, I won't spoil.
I think that would be a major spoiler. All I gotta say is that, believe it or not, this actually follows continuity of Power Rangers.
Yep.
What the heck? That's very impressive.
So So, and the rest of it writes itself. If you ever see the pilot of Power Rangers, you'll know how some of this goes. Honestly, I swear. But overall, the kids have to deal with their emotional issues. They gotta learn to trust each other, and they gotta stop Rita and her putties and any other monster she can think of.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me, and quite accurate from what I saw. So who wants to start first?
Yeah. Or,
Who, me?
who?
I'll start.
Okay.
So what are we doing? Goods, bads, uglies?
Yeah, well, let's see here. In an attempt to try to keep these short, and they never happen, as what I like because we have so much input, we will start with the goods.
Well, I'll say
But, you know, if it leads to other discussion, that's fine too.
this movie was much better than I expected it to be. And I give every movie ever a chance. There's movies that people say were crap, people say were garbage, people say were Rotten Tomatoes.com. patent pending.
Trademark.
That I absolutely loved. That being said, I watched these trailers, and they weren't the worst trailers. The Ghostbuster trailers were probably the most garbage trailers I've ever seen, and I'm the only one in this car who liked that movie, but my point stands. It wasn't as bad as those Ghostbuster trailers. Now, this trailer was just completely underwhelming, and I understand part of it because they don't do too much. There's not a lot of Power Rangers until the lower middle to the end. You know, I guess I can understand that, but even that, you have these dark, gritty, filtered trailers.
Everyone's favorite black, gray, gray.
Gray, black, gray, and it made these teenagers. I'll say it, pee in that cup. That's all they kept on saying in the later trailers. Pee in that cup, like these are some juvenile delinquents. And in a way, yeah, they're kind of either bad kids or they got into trouble. I won't spoil anything about their
They're
circumstances.
kids. Kids do stuff.
But they're not these anti-Power Ranger-esque kids that just got Power Ranger
They're
powers.
not convicts or nothing.
Yes, exactly.
They're not peeing the cup worthy, okay?
Yeah, there's a reason for that too, but they're good kids. They're all good kids. And that's the whole core point of the Power Rangers. They don't have to be perfect, especially now that everyone in the world's getting more and more cynical, but they played it up. And I'll tell you this right now, I do like Zach. Zach was always my favorite Ranger, and Zach was different, and we'll get more into that with the bad, sadly, but what made Zach unique is also what made him stand out for me, and I'm proud of how they handled him. But aside from Zach, I mean, Zach is neck and neck with Billy. Billy was amazing. I love Billy. He was.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with both.
I do too.
Because you know what? They could change his color, but Zach will always be the coolest Ranger.
Yes.
Yeah.
That always, no
Yeah.
matter what form he takes,
Yeah.
Zach will always be cool, and also the Black Ranger.
And the actors,
Go ahead.
the young actors did marvelous. I think they did fantastic. Bryan Cranston and Bill Hader as Zordon and Alpha respectively, they put their all in their performances. I thought that was pretty good.
I agree with that too. They've definitely brought some refinement and class to this movie, where they showed where the origins of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came from in a more realistic context
Yeah.
of intergalactic space warriors protecting all that is good, and what comes with that territory.
Yeah. And finally, I'll say that the movie featured the Power Rangers in a more realistic light, even when you consider the Power Rangers movie and Turbo a Power Rangers movie. But that is also bad, so I'll get to that a little bit later. But real quick, the bridge meaning about that is realistic. The kids are realistic. The setting is more realistic. Even what happens when two giant monsters fight in a city that small, it was realistic. But
We'll see if anyone complains about the destruction in this city like they did in a certain Man of Steel.
all right,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
If no one complains about that, they're all hypocrites.
yeah. Who's next?
Well, I liked the movie for a lot of different reasons. I wasn't sure, too. I was kind of like a little bit on the fence, although I saw a little tiny bit of the actual trailer as well, and from that, I had already made up my mind. I thought I would like the movie. I was really, for sure, intrigued when I saw the really cool costumes, and that, to me, is one of the goods, because I did like the costumes. And I like their little gadgetry and all the little, symbolism. And I like the idea that they did a good job trying to really bridge gaps, because there's a lot of people who have grown up on the Power Rangers over time. I mean, they already knew the storyline and they already knew what to expect from all the characters. So to try to fit in a series into a movie, a 2 hour or maybe an hour, 50
No, it's
minutes,
2 hours. 2 hours, 3 minutes.
2 hour, 3 minute movie. Thank you, Boss Ron.
You're quite welcome,
To try
Blue.
to fit that in and still maintain continuity, I thought was pretty cool. And then you're not even looking at doing this with the original actors. These are all new people. So, they all had to find their honeymoon spot kind of thing. I actually thought that I liked the whole, was it Zoran? No, I'm sure not right.
Zordon?
Zordon, sorry, Zoran. Zordon, I dug the way that they portrayed him in this. I thought that was pretty cool as far as the special effects. But overall, I thought it was good for kids, it was good for people who knew the storyline, and it was still good for those who had never seen a Power Ranger anything in their lifetime. Now, did it have the same pizzazz that Power Rangers first had when they first came on the scene? No, because actually when they first came on the scene, it was just all brand new. Everything was brand new. The concept was brand new. The costuming was brand new. It didn't have that. But what it did have is enough consistency, brought some new modern flair with the technology. And I thought that the actors did a really good job acting out their roles. And in fact, they brought a little bit new, I guess, what do they call these people these days? They're not millennials. What are they? Are they millennials? Or are
They're millennials, I think.
They brought their millennial attitudes with them, and that was really cool. Now, I could say this for something I didn't like, or I could, go to you, Boss Ron's, and then come back to it.
Yeah, we'll after me, we'll do the bads, and then
Sounds like
we'll continue
And it's
on.
not a bad, it's a nitpick.
It's a nitpick. Well, that's that. Even if we couldn't find any bads, we place nitpicks there, just for filler, because I do it all the time.
That sounds absolutely perfect.
As for me, you know what? Again, when we do the little wrap up on how we rate this, I'll go into more detail. But I will say, for me, there was some good found in the movie because I enjoyed the action scenes. When it took a while, don't get me wrong, they were going through this little, oh, we got these powers. Oh, we gotta hide it. We gotta figure out what's going on. Oh, we gotta self-discover ourselves. Who are you? Who am I? What are we gonna do in here? What's this thing? That's the robot looking weird. Who's the guy on the wall? And here comes the evil person. She's doing evil things. And, this, that, and the other. Some attempts at comedy, some attempts at, drama, some attempts at a lot of things. But when it finally got to the action, I felt like, yes, this is Power Rangers.
Yep.
Fighting evil, doing cool stuff, and when things got big, you get bigger with Zords and you throw down. I was like, finally. Took a while to get there, and I enjoyed it. Blue also was correct, too. I like the suits, too. You know what?
Yep.
People may complain about CGI, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you something. This looks just fine. I remember the last Power Ranger movie, and it was a long time ago, back when I was a little teeny tiny tot, is that these guys are made of plastic.
Rubbery.
Okay. That's fine, I guess.
I mean, we're not making fun of people who use practical effects.
No.
But I mean,
Practical effects are good.
I mean, look at the thing. People are polarized on the thing being a practical effect in the original Fantastic Four movies that were actually released with Michael Chiklis. I actually like them, but at least it looked convincing. These rubber suits, they look worse than the cloth ones.
Yep. And you just can't do the standard cloth for a movie. You gotta go big. Gotta go big or go home. And I'm glad they did, and they made it work. It was good, and I enjoyed those very. What else? Because I did over again. I'm really trying to save it for my rating parts. I don't want to spoil myself by revealing too much. I did like the action. I did like the suits. Zordon and Alpha 5, great. They were beautiful. I got more characterization in Zordon than I ever did in the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that I know who Zordon is. He's not just a head in a tube.
Yes.
He was a man who was for, protecting all life, and he had his own team and everything. and that was great. And Alpha 5. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw the screenshots of the new Alpha 5, you look like a weirdo, just straight up weird. But thanks to Bill Hader, right?
Yep.
He made it work. He made me forget how weird he looked, and made me accept this guy as the new Alpha 5, which I'm totally into, which is great. He even threw a few eyes for me.
Yeah.
And that was great. And I think that's about it. We're going to now move on to that. Before I continue, I forgot to say that I also like Zach and Billy. They're good characters too, which is the perfect segue for the dads, because I didn't like Jason, I didn't like Leanie, and I didn't like Kimberly for different reasons. And I did that on purpose, because they were, that was the running gag. They couldn't get her name right, which is stupid and is a bad all by itself. But the point is that I hate movie teenagers because they have the worst problems that are not problems in existence. Billy, yeah, he had a legit problem. Zach, yeah, he had a legit problem. Those three, they don't have any problems. They make poor life choices. And it drives me up the wall that they're the new Power Rangers. Now, to be fair, they did address it sort of, and of course they, for the sake of movie convenience, they were able to push past it to save the day. But they, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to because everyone else does it, my Power Rangers didn't have those personal issues. They were cool. They were inspiring. They gave you to be, like, an example to be. And sometimes you need that sort of thing. You say, I want to be cool like that guy. And what do I do? And they show you. I said, okay, I can do that. That's what made Power Rangers, well, one of the reasons why Power Rangers was a very good show to me. Because, you know, you don't have to be perfect, but you at least try. They were still not freak shows and weirdos with faux problems. They were, for me, the TV show Power Rangers, outside of being a ranger, were more realistic than those three with their fake problems, because now I know that's fake and not real. Again, Billy, yes, had a problem. Zach, yes, had a problem. You'll find out when you actually watch the movie. But the rest of those three, they not so much. And again, I hate to keep bringing it up. Why did they switch the races? Come on, they didn't have to do that. PC principle isn't here, kids. Just leave them alone. Just let them be who they are in the show. All this race swapping or gender swapping really doesn't do anything but annoy me, and I hate it. And that is just a few of my bads. You know, what else? Those were the big two. But the beginning half of the movie was pretty dry, and it was pretty slow. And I wanted to be Power Rangers already with all this. What's going on? Like I said in the goods, where they finally get to be Power Rangers, it was great. That whole beginning was kind of a slog. It's like, it's like, come on, guys, get with the program. You're seeing an alien and a robot, and you're fighting, and he told them that all this cool stuff is happening, and you're still going through your little BS issues? This is not the time. Get with the program. Although it was funny, that one scene with Zach with the you-know-whats. But yeah. I'm not going to spoil that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, some of that stuff, it happened a wee bit differently, but it did happen in the first episode, too, of the show.
Yeah.
Like, they're hesitant. Let's put it that way. That's not a spoiler, you know?
No, that wasn't the problem. I mean, there is going to be some hesitance, but it's still there. You know, whenever life gives you that card that you're playing and suddenly you're a superhero, then maybe you should have grown past a few of your issues, just a little bit. But they didn't until the last bit of it. You know, I don't even know half what the Kimberly's problems were, such as they were. Again, you'll get it when you watch the movie. But she got over it somehow, and now is a better Ranger for it. I don't know. But, you know, I think that's it for me. I know I'm missing some... Oh, no, wait, that's a spoiler. Never mind. No, that's it. I don't have anything else, but I'm sure when you guys go through your bads, you'll remind me. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Blue.
I forgot. Okay, it's just been that long. I've been waiting to say this bad. I forgot. So you go right ahead.
All right.
Well, you should have went first then, Blue.
I never got the chance.
You should have interrupted me.
I don't do that. It's not my way.
All right. Well, I'll start with maybe this is polarizing, but Rita Repulsor herself. I think Elizabeth Banks did a superb job with the material she had. But I felt they borrowed a bit too much from other established characters. They borrowed from Divatox. That was a big problem to start with. From Turbo, the Power Rangers movie. It felt like they also borrowed from the Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Not any of the interesting parts that I felt.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I just like, let me see, what else? She had a great, Elizabeth Banks had a great delivery as Rita. She wasn't too much of a serious thespian. She wasn't too much of a stern villain. She was campy. She was corny. That's how Rita Repulsor was. But
She threw in some of the good lines.
yeah, but and you know what? They upped the stakes with her too, and I appreciated that. But she still wasn't right, you know. And it's not about turning Rita into a hot chick, you know. It's not about giving Rita a little bit extra something in terms of power. It's about how she came off, and she wasn't as good as she could have been. Not that she wasn't a threat, but she never really felt, unless she fought someone one-on-one, whether it's the Power Rangers or someone else in Angel Grove, usually the cops. If she fought someone, she would have been great. But nope, at the end of the day, just sat back on the sidelines just like she usually does in the show. And that wasn't going to cut it for me, because we saw what she was capable of, and at the end, she petered out. Let's see, then there was Goldar.
Yeah.
You
mean Oozdar?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not much of a spoiler since people saw the action figures. It's about as bad as the black nerd said it was.
The Gakgar.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be so much forgiving about how Goldar was portrayed in this movie if he talked it somewhat. But that's enough said there. I gotta say that a lot of Power Rangers supporting characters, except for the core 7 heroes and Rita and Goldar, non-existent. Let me see. Unless the parents were the same in Power Rangers, which I'm not sure that might count, but the principal wasn't in the movie. Miss Appleby wasn't in the movie. Ernie wasn't in the movie. Squad and Babu aren't in the movie. Finster, the guy who made the monsters for the most part, wasn't in the movie. And those are all nitpicks, I understand, and those would have helped the score out a bit. The special effects, sometimes they were fitting, sometimes they were good. And again, this is where sometimes practical effects would have been better. They would look more solid. Some of the special effects look kind of cheesy or dated. Not everything. When it came right down to it, it was serviceable all the way to freaking amazing. Alpha, for example, was great. Zordon was great. But then you get to that battle, and you get to tell that the CG kind of... And then there was... Look, some of the explosions looked really, really haphazard. Like okay.
Hellish explosions, maybe?
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be... Hellish explosions are done with sparks and stuff, but this is all like a fireball. Like, it just looks so green screeny. What else? Yeah, Zach and Billy were awesome. I can even get behind Jason myself. But, Kimberly, you're right. Kimberly was kind of underdeveloped, which is too bad since a bunch of horn dog adults still have a thing for her. She was one of the more popular Power Rangers in the show, next to Tommy and probably next to Jason. And she was kind of underdeveloped here. And then I'll even take the race switching, I guess, so they don't get sued or they discriminate against people. It's like black guys black, Asian girls yellow.
Only racists think of that, by the way.
But
I think that's one of the things that I used to like about the original Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. It was solid, and there wasn't any reason to change it. I didn't see the need to change that at all.
well,
The only reason I ever gave attention to it when I was a kid is that it was cool that Zach was the Black Ranger.
I think everybody thought it was cool for that reason. Everybody thought that the Asian Trini being, she was yellow. That was cool.
Never-
I mean, you couldn't very well make Billy pink. I don't think that wouldn't have flew or whatever. But certainly seeing what's her name?
Trini?
No,
Kimberly?
Kimberly. Seeing Kimberly as the Pink Ranger just seemed to fit.
I know.
Yeah, but I'll say this. I like Zach for whole different reasons as compared to the Zach that I knew and loved when I was a kid. But they changed him too much. They changed most of the Rangers too much. I don't remember Jason being a football. Jason was a football player, I guess.
Was he?
He was.
Oh,
He
yeah, he
was.
was. Yeah,
He was, there was that one episode, but they never really brought it up. They brought up his martial arts background, which in that they pushed that down into the background.
I thought it was more boxing than martial arts.
I mean, he did a lot of kicks and stuff. He did a lot of kicks, a lot of martial arts stuff. They pushed that to the background. Kimberly she's just there, Trini has her own gimmick and her own set of circumstances as a teenager character going through issues, but Trini was also more of a martial arts too with the praying mantis technique. Zach's unrecognizable. The only one who could easily be who he is Billy, and that's why I think I like him a lot, because Billy isn't the Urkel nerd, which Urkel and even the old Billy were, but he was still kind-hearted. He was still learning the ropes. He was still the heart of the group.
And when you think about it, he, outside of his color, if you look at just the fact of the role he played, he was the only real Ranger that was still blue. I mean, Zach, yes, is still red, but Zach was a whole different...
No, Zach was black.
I mean, sorry, not Zach.
Jason.
Jason was red, but Jason was a whole different character.
Yeah.
But Billy, in character, was the way, basically, he was a nerd, and he still was a nerd, and he was still blue. That part didn't change, but everything else changed. Changed. So I think, if it wasn't about, like, a person being really young, seeing Power Rangers for the very, first time following the series, and they go to this movie, I'll be like, but that's not the right color for that Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not what that Ranger does. But, that was one little thing that I had. And I also thought, too, both of you guys pretty much hit on most of it, but I thought it took a little bit of a bend with, like, the credibility factor. I mean, that's a nitpick, really. But you're just going to randomly go to the mountain and blow it up, and then once you blow it up, you're just going to randomly start chipping away at the rock. And then these, maybe that's a spoiler. Huh?
No.
Well, it was sort of in the trailer, but don't go too far.
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, then you just randomly...
Stay tuned for the spoiler.
Stay tuned for the spoiler, because there's a lot of random stuff that just happened, and it was not really a whole lot of definition. For them to have paid that much attention to definition for the first half of the show, almost the first 3/4 of the show, to miss, like, giving some definition to why are you randomly going down this hole? I mean, why is that a good idea?
Why are you doing all this stuff?
Yeah, why are you doing
You should
all
have
this
turned
stuff?
back.
Yeah.
Now, especially you, black guy, even though they switched your color for the Ranger, you're black. You know where this leads, right?
Don't be doing that.
Yeah, no.
Somebody just happens to luckily get a... Never mind.
And speaking of which, you actually reminded me of another thing, is that the fight scenes outside of Ranger forms were pretty dark. I could hardly see what was going on with all those fight scenes outside of Ranger forms. I mean, not like, like just this beginning of the introduction of the character. I mean, when there's fighting, like, there will be some outside Ranger fights people, and they're pretty dark. They're pretty dark. Even Rita, who fights a little bit in the dark, unfortunately, her gimmick of shooting, like, this energy wave is just all she has. I mean, if she was, like, Rita from back in the day, she'd just blast them or something.
Right,
Do
right.
something else than just the same gimmick.
And then, the Rita from back in the day, she was crazy, but she was Rita, and she was Asian. I know I shouldn't make a big deal of that.
No, seriously. That's fine.
I think I would have preferred it if they would have found another Asian Rita. I just expected it.
It's fine, because guess what? How many people are whining about Ghost in the Shell not being an Asian woman? A lot. So you're fine. You're just fine. And let me tell you guys one more thing about you guys worried about, like, Zach being the Black Ranger and Asian, Trini being the Asian Yellow Ranger. Let me tell you something to blow all your minds. You remember Super Sentai, right? They're all Asian. So
yes, that's right.
your point is mute right now. Okay? Just get over yourself. Find the bridge. Get over it.
Oh, and an Operation Overdrive, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. No, wait, what's the Power Rangers Operation Overdrive? Yes, it was. They made another black guy as a Black Ranger, okay?
Oh, heaven forbid that. Holy crap.
Yeah, well, I did like the idea that at least these characters were, by the midpoint of the story, pretty endearing to the characters that they played. I could accept it. It wasn't like a total denial.
I will give them the benefit of the doubt and said that they tried.
Yeah.
At least they tried that much.
And I think if people saw it for the first time, they probably would. If they never knew anything about Power Rangers, this would be fine.
It's a fun opener, to be sure. Are we wrapping this up or what?
Yeah, let's give this our final rating and overall, feelings. Anyone wants to start or shall
I'll
I?
start. I really want to do a platinum pass, and I saw.
Wow.
I know that's pretty high, for the movie. There were an awful lot of nitpicks that I could, literally, if it wasn't for spoilers, spend a lot of time dealing with it. But I think overall, I look forward to seeing the movie, and when I saw it, I did enjoy the movie. So much, in fact, I can always gauge, like Boss Bronze kind of called me on it, how much I like the movie, to the point where I really had to go to the ladies' room really, really bad. Yeah. But I sat there until it was over because I didn't want to miss anything. So, I kept anticipating what the next thing might be, or wondering how they're going to pull off this thing, or is this person going to show up? And so the whole movie, I thought, overall, it really was entertaining, and I enjoyed it.
I will give it a pass. I thought it was fun. I thought the actors had fun being the Power Rangers, especially at the end. I felt the story was good for a reboot introduction to the world of the Power Rangers. I will say this though, I think if Elizabeth Banks is given another shot at Rita, I think she would be better.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I just think, and I mean, I'm not worried about the who wasn't there. I'm pretty sure you need some meat for sequels. But I can't buy Andrew Grove as a fishing town. It's just so weird.
No, wasn't that, where'd that come from?
And then
they needed to be gritty. And what's gritty right now? Fishing.
Deadliest Catch.
Is
that you, Batman?
I know, right? He's stalking us. He's really stalking us.
So I also will say that I know this is a major complaint about the X-Men, and for the most part I don't see it, the X-Men movies, but they really didn't flesh out the Rangers themselves all that evenly. It seemed like Billy, as the Heart, got an absurd amount of character development. They gave Jason the standard issue leader character development. Trini started off slow, but then picked up speed. And then Zach got a couple of moments. Kimberly got a couple of character developments, but they kind of were left in the background. Again, my favorite Power Ranger and the fandom's favorite female Power Ranger, and they just kind of get shafted. And so it would have been better if they were a little more even-handed with how they treated the Rangers. I had no problem with the suits. The CG was hit or miss for me, and Goldar was a good first fight, but I wish he had some personality, just a little.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah, not just a puddle of gold slime.
Well, you know what?
Because I remember, oh, the Power Rangers, I'm going to destroy you, or something like that. I can't do it.
you know, when you do that, it makes me remind me that Goldar and Macho Man Randy Savage has the same way of speaking.
Oh my, there's a lot of similarities in the way they look.
Yeah.
But yeah, before I go to my final synopsis, one more bad. Their editing was a little weird. Especially in the big fight scene, certain things they were just fighting like fine and normal. Other times they were here, there, and everywhere. And then again, I'll say one more for the spoiler, but I won't say it now. But you know, it's just their editing could have been a little tighter. It was kind of random in spaces. But to my final judgment, I'll be honest with you. I'm a man of two minds here. I want to give it a pass because they did try. The Power Ranger scenes were great. I liked the final fight more or less, even though it was kind of short, all things considered. Alpha 5 and Zordon were great characters. I didn't mind Rita all that much. She wasn't my Rita, but that's fine. What they did for her story was a little intriguing, and Zordon's backstory was also intriguing. So that that explains a few things in canon in the overall story of Power Rangers. You know, Zach and Billy, they were also good characters, that sort of thing. But on the other hand, I want to give it also an it's okay because Jason, Kimberly, and Gigi were not the greatest characters and not, you know, personalities. Dark fighting scenes, no. I want to see the action just a little bit. PC Principal showed up that messed with my Power Rangers. So there's that. The start and the middle were really too slow. Made me bored.
Really?
Don't like that.
That's not a spoiler, but really too slow.
Yes. Really.
I mean, too slow and for too long.
Yes.
And I know that I feel that it's really building up for the next sequel, which, folks, as long as you go and see this movie, at least 50% of you, there will be another Power Rangers movie.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Superheroes are big right now, so I highly doubt they won't really. Saban is not going to cash in this cash cow. Let me tell you, take it to market. But yeah, you know, for the goods, there was some goods. For the bads, there were some bads. And again, like Blue said, if I wasn't a fan of Power Rangers and I didn't know all this stuff, this wouldn't be so much of a problem. But I do. And guess what? This movie is more for me than any other little kid because they were my Rangers. There's not the current style of Rangers.
Right.
This is my Rangers, so I have to give it my input on the matter.
Absolutely. And I think as well as intended as they were trying to be in providing so much information up front about who, why, when, where, what, I think the main thing that you said that struck a chord with me is the fact, dudes and dudettes, you're meeting aliens inside of whatever, and you've got this robot, and he's talking to you, and the only thing you can focus on is your own personal problem. That just like, yes, that's so true.
Exactly. And even the original Rangers, like Backlash said, had some doubts, but at least when they were getting attacked, they got their stuff together and said, yeah, maybe we should not die and fight this evil before we're all dead here. Maybe that's important. Maybe my drama could take a back seat for a day. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I still have to give it a pass. Why? Because not too long ago, almost a year ago, I think, geez Louise, Deadpool came out.
Oh, yeah.
And Deadpool, as much as I like the character, he wasn't perfect. He wasn't quite the character Deadpool should be. They crammed a love story in Deadpool, which makes no sense for a guy who's basically a living cartoon character.
The girls all liked it.
And that's fine for the girls, but it wasn't true to Deadpool.
It was true in the other universe where girls are at.
Yes, that's true, but not in this universe. And I still gave it a pass because I knew that after this, Deadpool 2 or whatever should be 100% Deadpool, no drama, no fluff, no filler, and I'm going to give that the same claim to faith for the Power Rangers. So there, it's a pass. And of course, This is one drama gamer boss wrong.
Any information on Virtue Backlash?
And the First Lady of Media Blue.
Are telling you it's Morphing time.
Ooh.
Game console.
Mastodon!
And all those other people.
See, take care, and
And
see you for the aftermath show.
May the power protect you.